Because, I always like to have a big wad of money in my pocket to hit the casinos, to golf with,
Tim Donaghy is a former professional basketball referee who worked in the National Basketball Association for 13 seasons from 1994 to 2007. But this would come to an end when it was revealed that Tim was actually betting on and making a ton of money from the games he was refereeing. This is all featured in the Netflix episode Untold Operation Flagrant Foul. I'm Adam Andrews with Where Are They Now, and let's talk about Tim Donaghy. Refereeing is a physically demanding and high-stress job, but it is definitely a good job to have, money-wise. Even rookie referees in 2007 could make 6 figures, which makes me want to change careers, to be perfectly honest. And then, when it's off-season, you basically just get to chill the whole time, which makes you wonder why anyone would put the job at risk. Before joining the NBA, Donaghy worked as a referee for high school basketball games and for the minor league CBA. Blessed with the right connections, and after 4 years officiating in the CBA, he was called up to the majors in 1994. He was 27 years old at the time. Now, during his career in the NBA, Donaghy officiated in 772 regular season games and 20 playoff games. And through that time, he gained respect among his fellow refs. In 1998, Donaghy joined a country club in Westchester, Pennsylvania called Radley Run. At the club, he made a pretty tight circle of golfing friends. They played 18 holes 4 or 5 days a week, usually while also drinking and gambling, which happened usually at the Borgata, a casino in Atlantic City. In the casino, Donaghy wore a baseball cap to keep a low profile from the cameras because the NBA forbade any gambling by its refs except for horse racing randomly. And if he was caught, that was his career done. Now, inside this group of golfing buds, Donaghy's closest friend was a man named Jack Concannon. The two had known each other since high school, and Concannon, like a lot of people in the group, had a bookie, Peter Ruggieri, who also golfed frequently with Donaghy and Concannon's crew. In October 2002, Donaghy and Concannon decided to put their money together and bet on Ruggieri's picks. Then, at some point in 2003, Donaghy and Concannon were sitting alone at the Radley clubhouse after a round of golf when they decided to bet on the NBA, which obviously Donaghy had inside knowledge of. So obviously Donaghy made some winning picks, which came across as super easy for him. But it wasn't just random NBA games. The first bet they decided to place was on a March 2003 game that Donaghy himself was refereeing. Once they realized how easy it was for Donaghy to make picks, the betting increased from just 2 to 3 games the first month, all the way up to 30 to 40 games the next season. But things had begun to change. Donaghy was also placing his bets with his best friend, Tommy Martino, another close high school friend, who came into contact with Jimmy Battista, who worked as an underground bet broker providing services to sports bettors, laying down wagers on their clients' behalves with bookmakers of various types around the world, legal and not legal, working with a group of others called the Animals. He also had heavy connections to the mob and the Gambino crime family. He noticed the bets placed by Donaghy's friends, and when he split with the Animals, he decided to pursue them to find out how they were choosing their picks. Battista met with Martino and Donaghy, all of whom had gone to the same high school in the Catholic neighborhoods of Delaware County, just outside of Philadelphia, and they agreed to work together. Now, Donaghy claims he was threatened by Battista into working with him since Donaghy knew of Battista's reputation and didn't want to be caught. But Battista denies this, and no one else knew of any threats. In the Netflix documentary, the three talk about each other. Donaghy said, quote, "Tommy was one of those guys all the girls loved. Athletic, funny, good-looking kid that everybody liked." It then has Battista saying, quote, "He had good street smarts, always easygoing. You wanted to be around Donaghy." And then Martino then says, quote, "Battista and Donaghy were not friends. They were acquaintances. I was friends with Jimmy. I was friends with Timmy. I was their link. All 3 of us went to Cardinal O'Hara High School together. Tim was hilarious. He was the prankster. He was the guy pulling the fire alarm. But Jimmy was a God-fearing, church-going boy just like we were, and his family was very strict with him, and maybe that's why he rebelled a little bit and got mixed up with them guys. Jimmy, Timmy, and Tommy. Do you see why I refer to them by their last names now? Good grief. Okay, so how did the 3 arrange this gambling scheme? Well, I'll tell you. Donaghy would supply his picks for the game he was officiating to Martino through a burner phone using code words for home team or away team. Martino would then supply this information to Battista. Battista and Donaghy would never come into direct contact, with Martino even bringing Donaghy the money they earned from their bets. Battista cut a pretty good deal for Donaghy, which was that every time his pick would win, he would get 2 dimes, which is code for $2,000. If his pick was wrong, Battista would take the hit with no loss for Donaghy, referred to as a free roll. But honestly, Donaghy was rarely ever wrong. He was right about his picks about 88% of the time, which is an insane percentage in the world of betting for a long period of time. Battista was positioned well enough in that world that based on Donaghy's picks, he'd helped set up a kind of loose, disorderly hedge fund. Several people from the sports betting underworld had staked Battista a bankroll which he was using to bet on games officiated by Donaghy. In total, according to a source, he hoped to get down about $1 million of his investors' money in each of Donaghy's games. Several years after starting in the NBA, Donaghy, who clearly had a gambling problem, began placing bets on the 2005 to 2006 and 2006 to 2007 seasons, taking in so much money that he couldn't even figure out where to stash it to hide it from his wife, Kim. Now, Kim and Tim met each other when she was working as a flight attendant, and Tim chatted her up on a flight he also took. And they began dating and got married not too long after, and they have 4 children together. Today, though, Kim Donaghy lives in Sarasota, Florida, where she and her then husband and 4 daughters moved to in 2005. Kim filed for divorce in late 2007, a few months after the scandal became public. She has made it clear in other interviews that the two's divorce was a long time coming, saying, quote, "Tim was very, very secretive. He was always locked in a room on the phone." Now, in the Netflix documentary, she describes a time that she had picked up his official NBA jacket to put it in the wash and found, quote, "a huge wad of $100 bills rolled in a rubber band, hidden away in his pocket. With her thumbs and forefingers, she made an O about the size of an orange. That's big. She has stated that she probably started finding the cash in around 2004 during the season. At the time, she told herself the money was from golf course betting, but she would keep finding such rolls in his pockets as the years went on. She has also said that she never counted the money and never confronted him about its existence as she was afraid. Now, Phil Scala had been investigating organized crime in New York City for almost 30 years. Each of New York's 5 families had a dedicated FBI unit investigating it full time, and Scala was in charge of the one focused on the Gambinos. It was 2006 when his squad received a tip. One of the family's snitches had given Scala a new tip that an NBA referee was in the pocket of people in the sports gambling underworld. The informant didn't know any names, and the people with the ref in their pocket did not appear to be made members of the Gambino crime family, but the information of which sides of which games the ref favored had been seeping into the black market gambling business. And a crew of Gambino thugs in the Canarsie section of Brooklyn had figured out the formula and was winning millions on this ref's games. A few days after Battista checked out of rehab, FBI special agents Paul Harris and Gerard Conrad knocked on the first time on Battista's door. They knew all about what he'd done. On June 21st, Scala, Harris, and their boss, special agent in charge Kevin Hallinan, went to the NBA offices in Midtown Manhattan and sat down with Commissioner David Stern and 3 other league executives. And the agents informed Stern that it had come to their attention that Tim Donaghy had been betting on his own games and giving inside information to a gambling ring. Now, on August 15, 2007, Donaghy pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges, including betting and wire fraud. He was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison on July 29, 2008. He served 11 months in a federal prison camp in Pensacola, Florida, and the remainder of his sentence in a halfway house, but he was sent back to prison in August for violating his release terms. After serving his sentence, he was released on November 4, 2009. Donaghy was ordered to pay a $500,000 fine plus restitution to the NBA. While he was in prison, Donaghy was attacked and required surgery on his knee, an attack he blamed on the New York Mafia. Donaghy was also arrested again in December 2017 for aggravated assault, but he was released on a $5,000 bond. and he has not been rearrested since. Tommy Martino, on the other hand, pleaded guilty to wire fraud and got a 1.5-year sentence, while Jimmy Battista pleaded guilty to illegal gambling. Soon after Donaghy's release, he published a book called Flagrant Foul, a first-person account of the scandal that rocked the NBA in December 2009. He also sued the publisher of his memoir because they had not paid him, and he was awarded $1.3 million for that. Also in 2021, he even made his debut as a professional wrestling referee for Major League Wrestling, using his infamy to his advantage. The investigation into Donaghy wasn't just about gambling. It also brought heat onto the NBA itself, as it was claimed that some referees were pressured to manipulate games in such a way that would benefit the NBA. The NBA conducted its own investigation and concluded that Donaghy in fact did not fix games, but for many in and around the league, suspicions have remained that the full story has not been told. In the Netflix documentary, Donaghy states the different ways refs work within the rules against certain players, and about how star players would have their fouls and penalties not called in order to keep them in the game. He even told the FBI about the ways other refs would fix games and was to be their inside guy in that operation until the whole story was leaked to the press. There was tons of speculation of fixing games in order for Donaghy's picks to win. Even Battista assumed this was the case. Battista never used the word fix or influence or manipulate, but according to him, quote, there wasn't a need to. The whole thing had been insinuated. He said, quote, the only mechanics he had in his hand, he had the whistle. Since the scandal and his time incarcerated, Donaghy has appeared in 2 documentaries about the scandal: Dirty Games, The Dark Side of Sports, and as mentioned, the Netflix feature Untold Operation Flagrant Foul, which was released on Netflix on the 30th of August and is available to stream right now. The documentary features interviews with Tim Donaghy, Tommy Martino, and Jimmy Battista, as well as FBI agent Phil Scala, Donaghy's lawyer John Lauro, Donaghy's ex-wife Kim Strupp Donaghy, and more. The documentary is 77 minutes long and follows Donaghy from the start of his career to his disgrace and to his arrest. But that is all the information I have for you today. Now, it is your turn to hit us back in the comments about what exactly you thought of this story. Any details you think I might have missed or that I should have included? Well, let me know everything down in the comments below. But for now, I have been your host, Adam Andrews. Check me out on Instagram at @the_Schmadam, and until next time, stay safe and well informed out there.